Lesbian Nazi hookers abducted by UFOs and forced into weight loss programs. All this week on The Cooper and Anthony Show.
One of our favorite guests is back with us. He is a prolific television writer, nominated for 6 Emmys. He's written for Futurama, American Dad. He spent countless seasons working at Family Guy, where he was also an EP. He is currently still working with Seth MacFarlane. So that means Seth MacFarlane might be a great guy, because it's like when you see a company and some people there for a really long time, you're like, wow, that must be a great place to work. So he is still working with Seth MacFarlane as a showrunner and executive producer of The Orville. But most importantly, today's his birthday. Happy birthday, David Goodman.
Thank you, Cooper. Thank you, Anthony. This is like, you're the only people that wish me a happy birthday. So that's really nice. Thanks.
Well, we love you more than your family does.
You and my doctors. I got a lot of emails and texts from doctors.
That better not be true. There better have been.
No, there were letters by dentist, periodontist, doctor.
That's so funny.
I'm keeping them all employed, so they're happy.
Well, we don't really have a birthday gift for you, so I thought as a birthday gift, I would tell you a story about something that happened to me just today that I thought you might appreciate. Okay. So my side hustle, and really this is not really a side hustle, it's like when it comes up, I do it. I do background work and stand-in work on movies and television shows. Just, I'm in the union. It's a full cash grab for me. I'm not going to pretend I really care about being an actor, because I don't. It's literally a cash grab, especially stand-in work. So if you're listening, you don't know what stand-in work is. Very simply, when an actor is on a movie set and they have to set the lights and set the camera, Tom Cruise is not going to stand there. He's just not going to do it. So they get some idiot like me to stand there who's the same height as him, and then they adjust the lights, they adjust the camera, and they say, okay, team 2, you're out, team 1, come on in. And that's, team 1 is the real actors who have hopefully been preparing in their trailers, and they're coming out as their characters, which is another reason why they do that. And it's great because you're not in the movie. You don't have to worry about your hair and makeup. You get to hang out in craft services all day. It's like they pay you to eat. It's fantastic. Right. So I get a call to be on one of my favorite shows, which is Only Murders in the Building.
Oh my God. Great show.
How great is that show?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Terrific. It's great. It's awesome. Those guys are great. And it's a gift. Anyway, so you're on Only Murders.
Wait, and I noticed that your friend Kirker Butler from Family Guy, right?
That's right.
I was thinking, why is this such a funny show? This is so well written, and I was like, who's involved? And I saw
they've got a great staff. And a great creator, Dan Fogelman. It's great. It's a great show.
Right. It's a perfect show. So I love it. I've already watched it twice, which I never do. And so I get called to be a stand-in. And for stand-in work, it's usually the stars, the idiots on the side. They do their own stand-in work. They don't, if you're like some doorman, just go do your own stand-in. Right. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got called to be Selena Gomez's stand-in. I'm so shocked, because you would think they would choose somebody a little younger. But, maybe I fit some profile, whatever. So are you available, Cooper? Yes, I am. It's 3 days of work, so it's a lot of cash. They pay you for the COVID test, Yeah. So I'm all excited. And they called to check in on my availability again. They said, okay, so you're the one who's waiting for the stand-in work for Martin Short, right? Wait, what? I'm standing in for Martin Short?
Wow.
That's good casting.
Yeah, it's like that makes a lot more sense now. Now I get, because I was like, Selena Gomez, no way.
Meet Martin Short. That's that would be on my bucket list. I haven't never met him, but
yeah, I think you do, because actually, I don't know how they work on that set, but I was Janine Garofalo's stand-in on a movie that she was shooting with Kelsey Grammer, and Kelsey Grammer, Janine Garofalo, me and his stand-in, the 4 of us hung out together all day.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
So, yeah, and turns out he and I have the same taste in music, me and Kelsey Grammer. So we spent all day talking about, the music we both like. But yeah, so I don't know if it's like that on Only Murders.
Oh, so you haven't done it yet? You've just...
No, I haven't done it. This is all just unfolding today on your birthday.
Oh, well, was it that's my birthday gift? That's like the worst birthday gift I've ever had.
Well, yeah, the fact that you have a friend who is...
that I know somebody who's standing at Martin Short. No, that
potentially
feels kind of like...
You should tweet about that. Yeah.
in a like an abusive family, that would be a gift to me.
But yeah, so but it's I was sort of excited, and then
that'll be fun.
It's kind of an insult in a way that like Martin Short. I mean, he's much older than I am, and much shorter than I am.
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. It's kind of a shot at you.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's.
I don't know how they picked you for that. That's such a weird.
I know.
I don't know how that.
Same
I don't
height.
know that job. I don't know who makes those decisions.
Yeah. Same height. I think that's the reason.
That's what it is. Yeah, same height, and I have all my wrinkles. My wrinkles are in the same place.
All right.
the light will be absorbed right into the crevices of my face.
There you go.
So, yeah, I think that's what they're interested in. So we have a lot of reasons why we love having you on the show. Like we could just sit here and bullshit with you the whole time.
I couldn't figure out why you wanted me on, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, no, because we love talking to you. You're so funny. We always have a good time with you, and we love a good time.
Great time being here. So that's great.
So one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on is because this week, Being the Ricardos came out. That's the movie starring Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem, where they're playing Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Yes.
And it's not about the TV show. It's about the backstory of Lucille Ball and who she was, and Desi Arnaz and their relationship. And everybody is super interested right now.
Right.
And the thing that kept popping up for me is Lucille Ball had some connection to Star Trek. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. My friend David is,
I'll be happy to talk about that. Yeah.
really the Star Trek expert. Like you are, aside from all the writing and the Emmys and all the stuff your family's proud about, you are like one of the premier
biggest
experts.
Fucking nerds. Oh, can you?
Right. Okay, we'll say nerd.
Yes.
But you've written extensively. You've written several books about Star Trek and the characters and the autobiographies. Yeah. So I thought you would be the best person to explain the connection between Lucille Ball and Star Trek, because I was like, what the?
I doubt it's a big part of Aaron Sorkin's movie, which is a shame.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
So Lucy, after during the success of I Love Lucy and then the shows that she did after, she had her own production company, Desilu Productions. And after she and Desi divorced, it was Lucy's company. Desilu was Lucy's production company. And they produced a lot of great shows. They obviously produced all the shows that Lucy was in, like Here's Lucy and The Lucy Show. And then they also produced Mannix, Private Eye Show, and Mission Impossible.
Wow.
All came out of Desilu. And the other big show that came out of Desilu Productions was Star Trek. And so Gene Roddenberry, the writer of Star Trek, goes to pitch his idea to that studio. And I don't know that he pitched it to Lucy directly, but it was her decision to say, all right, let's go with this. And then they take it to NBC, and NBC picks up the pilot. But then it's up to Lucy's production company to produce this show. That means spend the money to make the show. Now, when a network orders a pilot, they're paying for the pilot, but they're not necessarily paying overages, or and these both this pilot for Star Trek was wildly over budget. The network passed on the first pilot. There was two pilots of Star Trek. They passed on the first one, but said, you know what, let's do another one. So they did another one. The first pilot did not have William Shatner in it, and had an actor named Jeffrey Hunter. And so they did the second pilot, which was also over budget. So, and Lucy's signing those checks.
Wow.
So there's a way in which, when the show went into production, there was money involved, and lots of money. And a show isn't necessarily going to be in profit. Back then, a show that was only on for a year or two wouldn't be in profit. The studio would eat the financial loss if it wasn't a success.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it was a very smart business move on Lucy's part, because Star Trek in the short run did not do very well, but in the long run was this huge syndication success. And then obviously made lots of money for the studio. I mean,
but it's still going. I mean, the fact that there's so many different incarnations of she was a real visionary. The fact that she was able to see more into this pilot that both audiences and studios went, we don't really get it.
It's hard to know exactly how well Lucy was involved. There's an anecdote, I don't know if it's true, but that was said by one of the producers of the original Star Trek in a book that he wrote. He was in a meeting with Lucy, going over all their projects, and she asked, "How's that USO show doing?" Now the USO is the overseas is when they send stars overseas to entertain.
Right.
And she says, "How's that?" And Herb Solo says, who's the producer, I don't know what USO, the ones with the stars on the Trek. And somehow heard the title and in her own imagination had created the idea that she was doing a show about the USO. But maybe not a visionary, but she trusted the people she worked with. She trusted the creators that she hired, and again, Star Trek is this 50 plus year phenomenon. So, because of Lucy, wacky redhead Lucy Ball. So.
The one thing I noticed about your career when I was looking at it today was it seems like the business that you're in is so small with a group of people that you guys write on Family Guy, then you write on American Dad, and then you bring the same people over to Oracle. It's like a little group of you guys. Orville.
Well, that's what function. Those shows are a function of the fact that those are Seth's shows. So Seth finds people that he likes to work with, and you get to work with him more than once if he likes you. And since he's continually making new things, that's obviously been a boon to my career. With American Dad, there was a moment where they needed some help to run it, so I only went over there for a short period of time. But I mean, it's kind of lucky to get to work for some. Seth is like, he's like Lucy. He's got his own production company, and he makes lots of things, and he hires plenty of new people. But if he's worked with you before and he likes you, that goes a long way.
How'd you meet him? Like, what was your first meeting with him like?
Well, again, it was for a job interview and for Family Guy back in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
When this was Family Guy had been canceled already once. They brought it back for a third season of 13 episodes. The show was being run by Seth and a writer named Dan Palladino. And Dan eventually was leaving Family Guy. Could be his last season on Family Guy. He was going to do the Gilmore Girls with his wife, Amy Sherman Palladino. And then they do Marvelous Mrs. Maisel now.
Right. I was like,
anyway, Dan right. So Dan and I had worked together many years before on a very unknown sitcom. And he brought me in for a job interview. And what put me over the top in that job interview was Dan saying, "Well, David's a big Star Trek fan, Seth." Because Seth's such a big Star Trek fan. And that ended up making, I think it was between me and one other writer for that job. And I think I edged him out just for that. So, you never know what's going to work for you.
Right. That's actually really good advice. Like for anybody that, I think it's important to be an expert in something you're really into, and it's weird that things you have in common with people.
It is. And that's where you find your connections, especially in a creative field. I mean, finding, and that's you in the Family Guy writers room where I worked for such a long period of time, everybody, you had some kind of connection with two or three people, whether it's movies or movie soundtracks or the TV shows you watch or music and that's a big part of the critical mass of a writing staff, is people finding those sort of personal connections of things you're interested in and passionate about.
Right.
Yeah, because I saw a picture of you with Cherry. How do you say her last name?
Shiva Prava Dumrung.
And I love
and tomorrow is her birthday.
Is it really?
Oh.
Yes. And today is her mother's birthday. So there we go. So it's a very weird.
So you guys are pretty close then, I gather.
We're pretty close. But anyway, you saw a picture of Cherry. Yeah, well, Cherry was hired in Family Guy back in 2005, 4, I think. And then, she ended up on Orville with us. Very super talented writer.
I love how I remember you made fun of her name on Family Guy. I do remember that. They made sure to let you know that that's kind of a wacky name. You know, since you brought up Family Guy, you know, I think Anthony and I are, you know, huge fans, and we normally do deep dives into different aspects of the show because it's amazing how, it's almost like a crystal ball. Like there's so many times that something will happen in the world. It's like Family Guy predicted that. And then we bring it up and we talk about it and that kind of thing. And, you know, so lately Anthony and I have been talking about doing like deeper dives into it. And one thing I thought was really interesting, I'm sure you've heard this before, but this was new to me. One of the prevailing fan theories about Family Guy is that the entire thing is from the perspective of Brian. Have you heard this before?
I have not, but let me hear more.
Okay, because I have some friends that they've some stupid friends. But here's what's interesting about it. And the more I think about it, the more I think that this, you would know if this wasn't true. But if you think of it like this, Brian is Seth MacFarlane's real voice, basically. He's not doing a character voice. So it's a reason why right there that would be the, you know, the main protagonist. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't know writing terms.
Right.
I'm only in radio. But Brian could talk. It explains why he can talk. It explains why everybody around him are a bunch of idiots, but he's this genius writer. He's prolific. He has all these hot women all the time. Like he doesn't bang ugly women at all. Like he always comes out being the hero, which
he doesn't always though.
No, he doesn't always, but
when he tweets, he does
enough times that if you're doing it from your perspective, there's a little self-deprecation. But for the most part, you know, you would see yourself as this visionary writer who's smarter than everybody else. I'd written a note to myself that I wanted to mention. The other thing I thought, it's from the perspective of the dog, and if you think about it, it explains why, like all the short clips, all the
the cut-ins,
the cutaways. You know, if you think of what a cutaway is, that's sort of like a dog's short attention span, and it explains why, you know, it's life would be.
I don't buy
from a dog's perspective.
Cooper, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I was there. I'm there. I was there a lot. You know, the fact is, obviously, Seth invested a lot of himself in the characters that he plays, and obviously the characters he created. All the characters. Peter is very much him too. It's his background. It's based on, you know, people he grew up with. Stewie isn't really real, but there's so there's all those pieces, but Quagmire, Lois, you know, those, he doesn't play Lois, but the you know, all of the characters have their moment of the show's about them, and I think that Brian, you know, the joke on Family Guy is that Brian's a terrible writer. I mean,
that's true.
Not mean terrible, and that he's so full of himself, and that's not Seth at all. I mean, that, you know, Seth has a, you know, and so I appreciate fans have their theories, but
right. Well, I think that they want there to be one omniscient voice. I mean, there's other theories. There's other theories that it's Stewie. There's other theories that the whole entire thing is about Seth being in love with Alex Borstein.
That's interesting. I don't think that's true either, but I mean, they get along well. But I think that, you know, and that's why the show's a success, because people can have so many entry points, and that's the genius of that show. I'm so lucky to work there, because there's so many ways somebody can enjoy Family Guy. And I mean, there are people who love Meg, who and are like, why do you treat Meg so badly? And it's like, well, because it's funny, but it's but you know, so there's interesting theory. Not true.
Not true. Okay, that's good to know. And the last Family Guy thing I wanted to run by you that I thought was really, again, something else that's really prescient, especially right now, is Quagmire's dad. That episode that you were executive producer on that episode. And for people that don't know the show inside and out the way I do, that's one of my favorite episodes. Not only is it one of the funniest episodes, but I always, it's so funny. It's like there's so much depth to some of these episodes that you guys do. You're making jokes, you're trying to be funny and be satirical, but then there's some real depth there. There's some things that really resonate. And there's one quick thing I want to say. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no.
Dan Savage, the sex columnist Dan Savage, who has Savage Lovecast, love him. He always says that if you want to come out to your family, what you should do is come out to them, give them 1 year to ask stupid, awkward, weird questions. Just 1 year. Anything they want, honest questions, stuff they really want to know, like, do you put your dick there? Whatever it is. And then once that year is over, they need to decide, are they going to accept you or not? And if the answer is not, then you don't need them in your life. But they get 1 year. And that was why when I saw Quagmire's dad, the episode where Quagmire's dad comes out as trans, I thought of Dan Savage immediately, because that whole episode was asking all of those weird, awkward questions that you'd want to ask a newly transitioned person.
When the show works, it's that honesty, that honesty in comedy is really important. And that was it was based actually on a little bit on the personal story of one of the writers whose father had a sex change, and there was this sort of we're trying to be funny, and we're definitely playing on characters, some characters like Brian's inability to sort of process it, and it was, some trans people might have been offended by Brian's reaction, but I think that it's always about that. We also did, we did an abortion episode, which I'm very proud of, which the Fox didn't air. It was only available.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was only available on DVD. I don't know if it's actually even if it's on Hulu or in the streaming, but Fox said, okay, go and do it. And we did it. And then they got some pushback from some stations about airing it. So they didn't air it, but they released it on DVD. So people saw it, but it's a great episode. And then obviously
are you talking about Prom Night Dumpster Babies? Is that it? Was that
no,
it?
that they were fine with.
That's
we did that. Okay. Fine.
They were fine with that.
No, it was Lois is pregnant. She has, and she's considering having an abortion. And but that my proudest moment of being part of Family Guys, I got a letter after we did an episode where Peter has a stroke, which people said that's not going to be funny.
Stroke.
And I got a letter from the head of neuroscience at Harlem Hospital saying that, like, this girl had seen the episode and then saw that because of the episode, recognized that her father was having a stroke and called the hospital, and the doctor said that saved his life because she recognized that her dad was having a stroke, because she'd seen our string of tasteless jokes about stroke on Family Guy. But again, we treated it intelligently when we talked. We said what was going on, and a kid saved her dad's life. I mean, that's amazing.
Right.
I want to ask, why did Stewie always want to kill his mother?
I wasn't there when Seth came up with that, so but I did get to write the episode.
You wrote the episode where he did.
Well, that was we were trying to figure out what is the 100th episode going to be, and I said, why does Stewie kill Lois? But I don't know. I mean, it was so interesting about that. I mean, that at the time that Seth did that in the pilot was so edgy, was so like, people found it really offensive, which again is the stock and trade of the show. But I don't know why. I don't have the answer.
Yeah, if they don't find it offensive, you're like, what did we do wrong?
What did we do wrong? Exactly.
We missed
right.
something here because nobody's reacting. Yeah.
If you're offended by the show, don't watch. You can turn off the television.
Well, by the popularity of the show, you would think that, people obviously weren't really all that offended.
No.
It's the fringe people that are offended by. I mean, but I wonder, some of those episodes, do you think you can, it's a stupid question. Of course you can do it now in this climate because you say no to nothing.
Well, again, I'm not there anymore.
Well, no, I'm saying, but if you were doing it now,
I don't know what the guys there are faced with. I think it'd be very hard to sell Family Guy right now. Like
Right.
if it was a new show and this was the idea of it. I think that Fox recognizes, the value of the show based on its history. I imagine that the writers there have to fight some new battles given the new culture. But but if you had to go pitch Family Guy now and try and sell it now, I don't think you'd be able to.
Now the Orville, it's a different narrative there because it's more of a storyline. They're more of
it's also it's not really a comedy. I mean, there's comedic elements and there's comedic interaction with the characters, but if it's talking about something serious, it treats it seriously.
Right.
And so we have our own sort of aliens who are sort of stand-ins for LGBTQ and some of the issues around that, but we take it very seriously, and I think we're appreciated for it. I hope we are. But
no, it seems like you're not getting the same kind of blowback as you would.
Right. Well, because again, we take these things really seriously.
Right. But people are seeing as more respectful rather than satirical.
And also, science fiction gives you this way of talking about things that people might be offended about by making them aliens, making them different. It's sort of, and that is something that Gene Roddenberry created Star Trek used to talk about. It gave him a way of talking about things you couldn't talk about on television, and we're still doing the same thing. Although, again, when it comes to drama on television, the sky's the limit. I mean, people are doing such edgy, relevant things across the board in television now.
Like what? What do you think is edgy?
Oh boy, I wish I thought of. Fleabag, great example. What a subversive, brilliant show. That's an example of the way that character talks to the camera about what she's talking about. I mean, it's amazing.
Wanting to have sex with a priest, and
the honesty of it, and even though it's a comedy, it's obviously serious too in terms of what that character is going through. But I think that's an example of something. I mean, I don't know. I just watched Dope Sick. I don't know if you guys have watched that. It's amazing. It's about the opioid epidemic, and it's so brutal and honest in its portrayal of the people involved that that's such a so many levels above what television used to be, which used to really sort of watch where you stepped in terms of what you could portray. And now it's because of streamers and because the audience is willing to embrace these things. Amazing things are getting done. So.
There was one thing that you did in your life that I should get an apology for, and that's Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
I should apologize to you for that.
Yes, because when my son was young, that was on repeat in my house, nonstop.
It was there frozen. Yeah, it was constantly on. His son was obsessed with it.
8 years I heard the Hex Girls nonstop in my house, and I learned that you were the culprit behind it.
I had a partner then, Rick Kopp. The Hex Girls was his idea. I don't want to. I'm not trying to shift blame.
Did you write the song? Did you have anything to do with the song?
Him. But we had a great time writing that. We grew up on Scooby-Doo, and but so I apologize for that. I've gotten a lot of complaints I get a lot of complaints from parents. That's the
you got Fred. You got Fred. And
parents are so pissed at me about Fred. And then Family Guy too. Like we ruin sex for kids. It's like.
But you have no idea what that movie is on repeat, just nonstop.
Right. like the first 20 times, very funny. But by the 21st time, it's like, I can't.
Might not even be that funny the first time. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
So what are you going to do for your birthday? How are you spending it?
I made a lasagna yesterday. I prepared a lasagna. I'm gonna make it today. My wife and daughter and I will share it. I'll force them to eat this lasagna. My wife usually does all the cooking. She's an amazing cook, but she's done a lot recently. And I'm like, you know what? I want lasagna. I'm going to make lasagna. So that's what I'm doing. I
mean, do you have a recipe? Like, do you have some special recipe?
Yeah, I got this great recipe in this book. It's this classic pasta cookbook that my wife had, and it's a great, easy recipe, and it's very good.
Wow, that's impressive. I love the fact that you cooked your own birthday dinner.
I'm impressed by it too.
You make your own cake,
I gotta say.
Make your cake, make your own cake, buy your own presents.
I didn't make the cake.
I mean, are you going to be eating it resentfully because they should have made it for you because it is your birthday, or are you actually going to enjoy it?
I'm going to be eating it self-consciously because if it's not good and they have to eat it and pretend that it is, that's kind of an awkward moment. It's my birthday. They're not going to insult the thing I made.
That's true. That's a very good point. Well, David, thank you so much for joining us, especially on your birthday when we're so grateful that you're spending at least this part of it with us and that you are always, once again, able to answer our stupid questions.
No, oh my God, it's my pleasure. Thank you for giving me something to do on my birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your lasagna. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Good night.
Hello? Check. Everybody hear me?
More like cockroaches than human beings. Cockroaches, they only live in the darkness of the suffering of others.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
I didn't get a chance to tell you about this, but my parents are going away. Like they usually like to go places for the winter. They're getting older. They like to go places birds. Warmer. Yeah, they're like birds. Exactly. Like they fly south for the winter. But for all of these years, their friends, they were all going to this one little area of Mexico where they would all just go and have this great time. And they'd stay there for like months at a time. They have one friend that just moved down there permanently, who went on a vacation in Mexico and was like, I will stay. CC.
Right.
But no one's going to Mexico now, I guess because of COVID and the places they want to go now way too expensive because people that are going to Mexico have a little money, So instead they found some crappy place to go in Florida. But so here's what happened. So the first issue they have is it's my parents and a cat. Okay. They have their cat, as you know. The place that they found that they wanted to stay does not allow pets. My mother's first plan was to sneak the cat in, which would require her flying the cat down to Florida.
No.
Finding some kind of bag that looks like a cute shoulder bag and, somehow sneaking the cat in. But if the cat ever gets out, if there's any issue, how do they bring in food and kitty litter? They're definitely going to get caught. And if they get caught, they're getting kicked out. Okay. So they decided at the last minute, they're not going to be scofflaws and sneak the cat in. Lucky for me, they have an only child. That's me, the daughter. Will you take care of our cat for the 4 months that we are going to be?
4 months.
4 months. Yeah. For the 4 months we're going to be in Florida, will you take care of the cat?
No.
So I figured, well, no, listen, they don't live too far from me.
No.
I said yes. It's too late. So, they don't live too far from me. I figure I'll go up there in the morning. I'll feed the cat. I'll hang out there. I'll do my work there, bring my computer. Then I'll go back home and do some stuff. Then I'll come back up at night. Maybe a couple nights I'll sleep over and spend the night with the cat at the apartment. That was the big plan. So we have this huge rainstorm, and the building my parents live in, the windows are for shit. So they have this huge flood. The floors are completely damaged and 2 of the closets.
Are you kidding me?
No joke. So the building is going to be fixing the floors and the closet. Guess when? Started today. guess when my parents were leaving for Florida?
Today.
So they were like, well, we'll just bring the cat to your apartment.
Oh, my God.
My
But there's
boyfriend Joe is
dogs
allergic to
over
cats.
there.
Yeah, my boyfriend, he's allergic to cats. We have dogs here. It's a tiny apartment. They'll be all up in each other's business. We have these really good friends who live in the neighborhood, and they too are away for the next month. Now, we only need an apartment for a week. It's 1 week they're going to take to do the floors and fix the closet.
You don't need the apartment for anybody but a cat. You can put the cat in a kennel.
No. So here's what we did. So we have these friends that have this giant apartment. It's got 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a giant living room. It's enormous. Great. Perfect. The cat will have its own bathroom, its own bedroom. This is fantastic. Lots of space for a week. You know, the cat will be like, it'll be luxurious. Like the cat's going on vacation for the week. So my mom drives the cat down to this apartment, gets it all settled, shows it where the litter box is. The cat likes to hang out in a little bed under the bed. She puts the bed under the bed. The cat jumps in there. Good kitty, you know. And we're hanging out and the cat is not coming out. And Mom's like, she'll come out later, not a problem. My mom leaves, goes home to pack and go to sleep. We pack some things, go to the apartment. The cat finally comes out. We feed it. Then it runs under the bed. Fine. It'll stay there. We are woken up at about, I'm going to say like maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. We hear the dog barking and the cat, and the dog, they are having a fight in the living room, which we could have never imagined because they were getting along fine, but they're up in each other's business. Luckily, nobody hit or bit anybody. They were just barking and yelling at it was a yelling fight that was about to escalate. So, you know how it is. Like you're dead asleep and there's certain noises that wake you right up. Your alarm clock, anything in your house vomiting, and a fight. So it's the fight. We're both wide awake and we go running out. We separate the two of them. Nobody hurt anybody. Everything's fine. We bring the dog into the bed, put a leash on her. So that way she's now in bed with us and she's not going anywhere. The cat runs under the bed into her bed and the entire time like won't shut up. So 5 a.m, we can't sleep. Let me see if she wants some food. So I put some food down. She comes running out for the food and she's meowing and rubbing against stuff and happy and the tail's going, happy cat, eating some food, loving the living room, 5:30 in the morning, So we thought, you know what? Let's keep them apart. We have a little child fence. It's tiny. The cat can jump over it easily. It was more for the dog to not bother the cat while she was eating. We put the little fence up and we fall asleep. I wake up in the morning at 9 a.m., get 4 hours of sleep, and I go to check on the cat. No cat. I check under the couches. No cat. I check on bookshelves. No cat. Closets. No
and
cat.
You're the only one there.
Yep. Nobody.
Your mom's not there anymore.
They're in Florida. They've left for Florida today.
No cat.
This is not. They left first thing in the morning. It is now 9 a.m. They're on a plane, and we can't find this fucking cat anywhere. I wake up Joe from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 2 hours straight. We are tearing this apartment apart. This is a giant living room with 2 couches. We pull every single pillow and cushion off the couch. We lift the couch. We see that one of the couches is a fold-away bed. We open it up, hoping that the cat wasn't in there and crushed, No cat. I'm telling you, it looked like a hurricane hit this apartment. It's in shambles.
It's not even your apartment.
But we have to find this cat.
But you're tearing somebody's apartment. Did you tell these people that the cat's going to be at the house?
Oh, yeah. No, that's why. Yeah, no, they knew we were there. That was the whole thing that they said, why don't you come stay at our apartment with the cat? The cat can have its own bedroom, its own bathroom. It'd be perfect. Okay. That was the whole plan. We tear this place apart for 2 solid hours looking for this cat. No cat. Joe's got to go to work. I have a meeting. We have to leave by 11:30. We don't have a choice. So we thought, okay, maybe it's hiding somewhere we'll find it. Joe goes back at around 2 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock, searches again, no cat. I go back, search again. We put food all over the place, thinking like it'll lure her out. No cat. So now we're like, okay, the cat somehow escaped. The cat's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's dead. And we're like, all right,
you
we
need
can't
to
tell
make flyers now and put them up around the neighborhood.
But we couldn't have gotten out of the apartment. There's only one way out, and it's a door that was locked.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way out. So now we're starting to discuss, because now it's going on. It's 5 o'clock. It's 12 hours since we've seen this cat. So we're like, okay, we need to really get serious about this. What if the cat is somewhere and dead? Do we not tell my parents? I don't want to ruin their time in Florida. We took a lot of pictures of the cat when it was running around. We could just every day be like, here it is again on the chair.
Look how
here
happy.
It is again. Look how happy it is. Yeah, I took some video. I just keep sending them to say,
Right.
clips of the same video over and over. And we thought, if we find the cat and it's dead, we're going to say that we came home and found it like that.
Okay, the cat's not dead. I guarantee it. Cats hate the change of scenery. So it doesn't matter where you take the cat. It could be a castle. The cat's not happy. The cat's not happy unless it's home. That's why I say take the cat to a shelter, then put it in a cage for 4 months, because it doesn't matter where it is. It's not at home. It's not going to be happy.
The cat's not dead. But by the way, this is not another dead animal story. I promise.
It's not.
The cat is not dead. I have an end to the story. I
guarantee that I'm telling you how the story ends without knowing how the story ends. The cat's fine. The cat is hiding in a chair or in a couch. The cat is fine.
Okay, so wait. So we call the owner of the apartment and ask her, are there holes in the walls somewhere? Is there somewhere the cat can be? I actually have a friend who's a cat whisperer. I called her and she said, oh, here are the 3 top places cats hide.
It's in the mattress of the bed.
She said, if you slowly pick up the mattress, what they do is they'll burrow in and they live inside the mattress.
Mm-hmm.
So try that first. We do that. Open the no holes, no cat in the mattress. Okay, so not in the mattress. The second thing she said is behind the refrigerator. And we realized there was a way in, maybe behind the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend whose house it is said, there's a hole under the dishwasher. Maybe somehow she made it through there. So my boyfriend's like, it's a really small hole. I can't really see. So he sticks his phone inside that hole, puts on the flash and takes a picture and pulls the phone out. And there's the cat face.
Yeah, the cat's hiding.
The cat is hiding inside the dishwasher. We found the cat. It's inside the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm. I told you, when your parents say, can you watch the cat, say no. There is going to be nothing but drama for 4 solid months with you and this stupid cat. I tell you right now, it's going to be the death of you. It's going to be the death of me. It's going to be the death of Joe. You woke the poor guy up to find a cat that's hiding in the apartment. You made the guy nuts.
Yeah.
For 12 hours to find the cat.
He's so angry. He's so mad. I can't even begin to tell you how mad he is.
Just because you said, yes, I'll watch the cat. No, say no. Last time you watched this cat, nothing good happened. The time before that you watched the cat, nothing good happened. Nothing good is happening now. And they're not even in Florida yet. They're still on the plane.
No, they're there. They're there now. Yeah, no, they're finally there. And I'm still sending the pictures
before they even got off the plane. Before they got through customs, you killed the cat.
Well, that's what I thought. So we were like figuring out, like, do we do one of those like sitcom-y things where you buy a cat that looks just like the cat and be like, here's Fluffy, like pretend like, oh yeah, that's a spot on her back. No, we had her tattooed. Like, what do you do? So, yeah, my boyfriend, as you can imagine, is livid, but he found the cat and it's inside the dishwasher. So the plan is that I'm going to go over there as soon as I get off the air with you. And hopefully it's a nocturnal cat. It'll come out at night. I'll hang out, watch TV. I'll hang out with it tonight. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to confine it to its side of the apartment with its bathroom and its bedroom but it is no longer going to have access to that kitchen.
I guarantee it's going to be days before that cat comes out.
Really?
Yes. That's what happens to cats. When you take cats to a new place, they hide for days.
Doesn't it want to eat?
No, they're too freaked out. You can't freak a cat out. It doesn't, like I said, if you took it to its happy place, a big castle, it doesn't matter. The cat's going to hide in a hole because that's what cats do, and it's going to be days.
The cat was fine until it had the fight with the dog, so now we can't bring the dog over there.
Yeah, now the cat's freaked out. It's in a place, and there's a dog there. Cat's not coming out.
Well, we're not gonna be there with the dog. We'll
Cat
sleep
doesn't know
separate.
that. Cat thinks
I'll
there's
stay
still
there.
a dog in there.
That's true.
So yeah, I can see how this plays out. It's gonna be in that hole for another day at least until it gets hungry.
Are you serious?
Yes, leave it alone. If that hole doesn't go anywhere, leave it alone. It will come out eventually.
This is so weird. Like, what animal hides for days in a dishwasher?
You don't understand cats. Cats are evil, evil, evil animals. Just leave it. You don't need to see it every day. Just make sure it has enough food.
It has to come out by Saturday, because Saturday it's going back to its house.
It will be out by Saturday.
It better be.
It will be. But I'm telling you, cats don't like to travel. They don't like new places.
Why do people have cats?
I don't know.
Explain this to me. You have 2 cats. What do you mean?
I've looked up many a times, how long do cats live? I want to be free from these demons that live in my house. And you say they fight? They fight all the time. And they don't hurt each other. They just make a shitload of noise and wake you up.
That's what it was. They were yelling at each other. Yeah.
Cats are assholes. Plain and simple. And now you have an asshole hiding in a hole.
In a dishwasher.
Enjoy that. Yeah. I'm telling you, you don't need to go over there tonight.
Of course I do.
No, you don't. It will come out eventually. Go tomorrow. You don't need to go tonight. It won't come out.
It's not coming out tonight,
No.
you don't think?
No. It's found a happy place. That's where it's going to be. Eventually, the cat will get hungry and curious and come out of the hole and sniff around. But it's going to take it. It's going to take a few days.
Well, Joe was just over there, and he left some food right by the hole.
Yeah, you're not going to... It's going to come out what it wants to. It's not going to come out on your schedule.
All right.
And the cat's an asshole. That cat is an asshole.
Yeah.
So it's not a fun cat. It's not a loving cat. It's an asshole cat.
This is the cat that also hates my parents, remember? They took it. They had a place upstate New York. Don't you remember? This is the cat they took up to upstate New York, and it escaped, and it was gone for 3 months.
Yeah.
And somebody found it and called my parents. Here's my favorite part. Called my parents and said, are you the people that lost this cat 3 months ago? Yeah, that's us. Well, we think we have your cat. So they show up to see the cat, and they haven't seen each other for 3 months. The cat made a beeline for the bedroom, like ran away. As soon as she saw my parents, she was like, no, I was trying to get away from these assholes.
And they
what are you doing here?
And it takes them a few days to go, oh, I know this house. But it's going to... No. Cats are horrible. So every time we move, we know the cats are going to get... They're just going to be lost for a week. We just know that. And when we moved to this house, it was weird that the cats came out like 3 days later. It's like, wow, that's never happened. They always hide. So it took them. But now the cats got into a fight. It ain't coming out.
All right. Well, you know what? They have Showtime. I don't. I'm going to go watch Dexter.
You should. Dexter's really good.
That's what you said. Okay. This
year, Dexter is so much better than any other season.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm excited. I saw some of the first episode while we were there last night. I'm going to continue to watch it, and maybe the cat will come out and want to watch a serial killer with me.
No, it won't, because cats are serial killers. So, yeah, you're not getting that cat out.
Oh yeah, give me some. Cut me a piece. Go away, Paleton.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
If you remember last week after the new Sex and the City show came out, and Just Like That, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, it's literally just a continuation. Like, where are the characters now kind of thing. And we said that basically Samantha not being on it, Kim Cattrall for the win. Like, she was smart to not do it because it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the first episode, and screw you if I'm spoiling this for you because we already talked about this. The end of the first episode, Mr. Big is on a Peloton and he's biking really hard and having a really good ride. And then he has a heart attack and he dies because you're not allowed to be in your 60s and be healthy and Just Like That. And I have a friend that works for a record label that basically his job is to make sure that every video that's put out it's not going to be a legal issue. Whoever's job it was at Paleton to do this deal with Sex and the City writers and Michael Patrick King or Darren Star or whoever, to have Paleton in there and not know the entire narrative, not know that Paleton is going to be represented as a tool of destruction, as a tool of death, that if you ride one, you'll have a heart attack and you'll die. So Paleton came out the next day and said, no, hang on, no. In fact, the opposite is true. Paleton is the thing that's going to stop you from having a heart attack because it'll help you keep healthy and heart healthy. And, they had to do some
major PR.
They had to do some major PR the next day. Yeah, they do some damage control the next day because it made Paleton look like it kills people.
Right.
Yeah. So it was funny because SoulCycle tweeted they should have used a SoulCycle. SoulCycle Big would still be alive.
As well they should.
Yeah. So today, everybody's talking about the fact that yesterday an ad came out that was voiced and produced by Paleton with Ryan Reynolds to basically change the narrative of Paleton not being a vehicle of destruction.
So it's Big and some redhead chick, and they're in an apartment, fire's going, and they're laying in front of the fireplace.
To new beginnings.
To new beginnings. You look great.
Well, I feel great. Should we take another ride?
So he's like looking at the bedroom. Should we take another ride?
Right.
Life's
Implying
too
that
short
it's
not
sex.
to.
And then they pan out, and there's 2 Peloton bikes. So he's like, you want to take another ride? They're talking about the Peloton bikes.
And just like that, the world was reminded that regular cycling stimulates and improves your heart, lungs, and circulation, reducing your risk of cardiovascular diseases. Cycling strengthens your heart muscles, lowers resting pulse, and reduces blood fat levels. He's alive.
That's Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, who has got a great sense of humor. Yeah. So what's very interesting is you're like, wait a minute, Ryan Reynolds, why is he doing this with Chris Noth for Paleton? Like, what? Why is he shilling? This is the strangest thing. So he said by pure luck, he'd already been talking to Paleton about doing a creative product with them. I guess he has a company where he produces stuff, and he was talking to Paleton about doing something together anyway. So after this whole thing happened, he gets an email from the head of marketing at Paleton and says, we were looking for something we can do, like a narrative in a way that we can do a Peloton ad together. I have the idea. Like, this is it. Here we are. We're there. And they needed to do damage control so quickly. They turned this around in less than 48 hours. They cast it, lit it, shot it, and got it out there in a really short period of time.
Yeah, they sent Ryan a script, and they said, can you read this? And he said, yes, send me a couple of Pelotons for Christmas.
No, it was his production company. He was already working on a deal with Paleton.
Nice.
So they decided together that, they were like, we should do something together. What should we do? So after this whole thing happened to Chris Noth, they were like, hey, I have an idea. Would you help us get out of this terrible situation? And somebody at Paleton definitely got fired for that, because whoever it was that agreed to have Paleton in the Sex and the City sequel should have asked in what context? You know, like how are you going to be portraying our product?
But they got their job back as soon as this commercial hit, and you said that's brilliant because now everybody's talking about it.
Maybe. I mean, the stock did fall 11%.
And that's huge.
You kidding? For a stock like that, that is a lot.
That's
That's tens of millions, yeah.